FX presents the Indu Podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indubians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Kortney.
This is the Indu Podcast. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. This is episode number 82, and this is a hot day in September and how I spent my summer vacation, which was a week long. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. How are you doing?
All right, and cooling out. At the time of this recording, it's my first day back to work after a brief hiatus away from work and things, which everyone was like, where'd you go? What'd you do for your vacation? And I'm like, I basically just kept telling people it's productive, and it really was, but
good.
But I don't know if I was vacationing properly, but that's how I vacation.
Well, that's all that matters. As long as you were good with it and you're happy with how your vacation turned out, then that is all that matters.
Right. And I've heard staycation more than one time because because they asked me if I was going anywhere before I left. I'm like, oh, you're taking a staycation. I'm like, yes, whatever.
Which counts, and it's valid.
It does. I mean, sure, I would have liked to go somewhere, but I just needed to get away from work, and I'm glad that I did. And I was able to do so many things, including a whole bunch of stuff at the Patreon site. So I don't know if you've gotten to go at any time recently. I actually meant to send you a couple more things like ahead of time. Like, hey, this is what I'm sending out a little later. I could still send those to you. But just a heads up, because again, for those who have not seen the Patreon yet, because that's still possible, I did do a tour of the radio station that I work at. And over the weekend, I actually did a part 2 because I had talked about a uncomfortability that I have there. So I went to go confront this, I'm putting in quotes, fear of mine. And it involves satellite dishes. So that's just a little tease for you. There is another Cookie Confidential video. I'm stepping my game up in the videos because October 5th, which is a Friday, we will be doing the Indu Podcast really live.
Woo-hoo!
Yes.
Exciting stuff.
It is. And I say really live because we've done live episodes before, but that's just like with us on like YouTube live. But I'm actually going to be in front of a live, I was going to say studio audience, but I'm going to be at my church, but it's going to be a live audience and with special guests, which I think I can talk about here. I'll have my mentors, Neil Knutson and Jerry Williams. I know for most people, that means nothing to them, but if you live in Connecticut and you listen to WIHS, you know exactly who they are. So they are my coworkers and my mentors, and they will be joining me. Hopefully, as long as everything turns out, they will be joining me that night, and we will chat, and you will be there as well. Hopefully, if everything works out, you'll be streamed in.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Yes.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, just making sure, because life happens. Sometimes things happen, but hopefully, we're praying everything comes together. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Just regular shenanigans, but a couple new ones because we have new people. So, yeah,
should be good.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I was just kind of sitting on, and it's just been bubbling. And I'm excited. I'm anxious. I'm nervous, but I'm ready to have some fun.
Awesome. So, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Yes. So keep that date open. And if you can't make it to Connecticut, then you can definitely watch on YouTube live. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yep. Going to be awesome.
Meanwhile, I have been binging on a number of things, and we actually recorded a review for one of those things that you and I both binged, The Staircase. So do check that out on Patreon, our review for that. I watched Abstract, which is a designing, very artistic, creative docu-series. I caught up on Preacher. There's another show. Oh, Jack Ryan. So there will be a Patreon review for that coming up soon. And one day last week, I'm not sure if I talked about it here on the podcast, but my dad had got a job working at a local school and it's elementary school. So he invited a bunch of his friends to welcome and greet the tiny little tots on their first day of school and kind of wish them good luck on their first day.
Yeah.
So I was a part of that. That was a really a fun way to start the day that day.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean they were all terrified or just like I don't want to be here, but some of them were game. They gave me a high five. I'm like, okay, good, good luck. Have a good morning or good year, great year, whatever. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
they need that.
Yeah, I thought
and they probably didn't even know that they needed that.
Right, and I was fine with it. I mean, it was before like they start getting sticky and gross, so it's good. Because I mean, they're still with their parents, so they're making sure that they're all clean and ready for the first day. Saw a whole lot of interesting backpacks, like, oh wow, it's Lego Batman, and that one's Pikachu. I'm like, oh, I'll do it. So yeah, it was a good day. I also returned to Twitter, kind of, so I'm kind of back there because I mean I have to kind of almost be reemerged, and I come in slowly and like, okay, what's going on over here, and missing events like Aretha's funeral, for example, apparently was live tweeted by some people, so, which was maybe 16 hours long, I think.
I thought it was like 20, but whatever, give or take a couple hours, it doesn't really matter.
Not really. I mean, she's the queen, so we have to take as much time as needed to honor her. But I'm so glad I was not there because yeah, just many reasons. But I mean, that's kind of the day that I came back and I'm like, oh wow, I kind of almost wished that I had watched it, or at very least watched the Twitter stream, because of the comments that were coming through were absolutely hilarious. People sending pictures of like church mints that they're passing around.
Because yes, so I ended up streaming all of it, well, most of it, from the start of my workday to the end of my workday, and my workday was 7 hours on Friday. So yeah, and I don't think and I still miss performances. Like I didn't see Stevie Wonder's performance. I didn't see Jay Hudson. I didn't see. Let's see. There's a few more. I didn't catch the eulogy, which was a hot topic.
Yes, it was.
And I'm glad I missed it. So yeah, there's a lot that I still missed. Even then, I just kind of had it in the background. I wasn't actively watching it because I was at work. Also, I didn't need to hear all of the, in between stuff. I just didn't need to. I didn't need to. So I didn't. But I caught the highlights live and was there for the live highlights. And of course have lots of thoughts and feelings about them. But yeah, it was one of those things where if you didn't catch it live, it wasn't like you couldn't catch it later.
Right.
And it's completely fine to just check it out on YouTube. It's okay.
And you could, and there are some of the news sites actually had like the whole thing. Like I think it was the next day I went to look up, because of the fact I was trying to familiarize what happened with the whole eulogy thing, and then there's like, oh, you can watch the whole stream here, like, and it clocked like a little over 9 hours. I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch the whole thing. I'm good.
Yeah. And that's not exaggerating. That's no commercial breaks. That's no, like, it's insane. It's pretty insane.
It is. I'm like, I don't have the time. I mean, maybe if you paid me, but still, I don't know if I would want to, because that's
you
a lot.
Don't.
It's funny you mentioned J Hud and Stevie Wonder, because those are really the only two that I kept hearing about, and especially for my dad, who kind of just kept. I don't think he watched all of it, but he kept like changing the channel just to check on it, see what was going on.
Yeah.
And he told me, he was like, Stevie Wonder's supposed to be the last person performing, but people keep coming in and they keep inviting people on the stage. So it's...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That would drive me crazy.
Yeah, apparently there was a bunch of funeral crashers, which I didn't really
Oh
know was a
no.
thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, there were people scheduled to talk, and then there were people that weren't, and were just invited up. And I feel like that's typical of a Black funeral because I feel like
Yeah,
that's happened.
I feel like
So,
that's typical of a Black funeral as well. Like, I mean, maybe not typical, but not unusual.
right. Yes, it's a better word.
So because we Black folk like to keep things flexible and fluid, and so which can be a good thing, but it can
Hmm.
also be a bad thing, especially when you have a gajillion people already um already like on your roster. So
Right, right.
yeah, I didn't catch anybody who was a non like person who wasn't supposed to be there or wasn't announced to be there already.
Hmm.
Because like I said, I wasn't closely following the Fune. I just was checking in and you know,
Did you call it the fune?
yeah, that's a we I mean, I don't know, maybe it's a southern thing. We call it a Fune.
I've never heard that before, but that
Have
is
you
great.
not?
I've never heard it. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I have to ask my parents if they've heard of that before. But wow, like you shortened it down to fune.
Yeah, we call it a Fune here in the South, or at least in my family.
Oh, hey, maybe it could be a family thing. I don't know, but
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that's
No,
that
I've
is
heard other
great.
Black people use it, so it ain't just us.
Mm.
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I've heard of people saying they put the fun in funeral, but I don't know about the fune. But
No, that's completely different.
yes, I mean, I hope to be one of those people. Like even when I cease to be in parish, I want my fune to be fun, and uh, I don't know exactly how to go about that.
Hmm.
My sister has said that she's going to write it in her will that no one is allowed to wear black for her funeral, so everyone is going to be in like colors, bright colors.
Hmm.
So I'm like,
Well, and
okay.
I'm in a couple, well, I'm in a Facebook group particularly that brought up like end of life planning, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to read this, but I need to. And so I did.
Hmm.
And a few of the people actually mentioned that, they had their funeral wishes, already planned out. Some of them had it officially written out. Some of them just kind of knew it and needed to write it out. So I don't think that that's, out of line if you, set up your will or set up your end of life planning and have that all laid out. It's better to, I feel like it's better to, it's not the most fun thing to do or think about, but it is good to kind of have that stuff planned out and have all the details figured out so that your family doesn't have to, if
Hmm.
that's available to you. So and I talked to a friend today who has a friend who unfortunately is now in hospice care. She's been battling cancer for a while and so she's in hospice now. But a few months or about a month and a half ago, she had a celebration of life party. And so I had an idea of what that was, but I said, what exactly is a celebration of life party? And she said, well, it's where we, got together and we wrote letters to her and we shared memories with her and we just did special things for her to celebrate her life outside of a typical funeral. So I don't know if the lady is going to have a funeral when she does pass on, but it was just a very cool thing to think about, when somebody who knows that she may not have very much time left and she decides to kind of do it her own way and
Hmm.
um, deal with it, I guess, in her own way and share those memories. So it's interesting to kind of consider.
That is, I really like that idea because, I mean, we've all heard that phrase like give flowers while they can still smell them, or give roses or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and that's like an excellent, especially if you know that like, hey, my time is coming, and
Hmm.
let's celebrate now. Like well, not necessarily her saying that or the person who's going to die, but like the people
Hmm.
who are like, hey, let's celebrate you and your life now. Let's have this really have a big shindig before you go out.
Yeah, yeah. And in her
Celebrate
case,
you.
that's exactly what it was. And um, you know,
Hmm.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean this like with the utmost like respect and importance, but like it's in a real going away party. So it's like
Yeah,
we're And I think that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my train of thought where I was going to go with that because I'm just kind of like, wow, that's great. Okay, I do remember now. I do remember seeing a report years ago, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I'm not sure if this is something that they actually practice now, or it should be practiced because I know it's something I probably have to write into it. But like, also with the end of life care, or even after you pass on, what happens to all your social media accounts? And a friend of mine we talked about it and like, okay, I think we would have to just trade each other's passwords, or maybe we'll put it like in a sealed envelope. So like, if I should perish, then, this is in my will that you are in charge of my social media. You can close everything out, delete my search history and all that stuff. So,
yeah, that's a good idea. Deleting that search history.
Because I don't need them to know about the things I looked up how to make. Not that not a terrorist. So, but I mean,
it's true terrorist.
But I mean, it's a good idea because there are, so many accounts that are left open, and there are like people who just don't know. And I think about that sometimes where like even our own friends on Twitter, we don't know, like something like, God forbid, something happened to them. And we don't know. We go to their last tweet and like, oh, wow, that was really like they said they're coming right back. And it's been like a year now. What happened? So, so either that account be deactivated, or they have like their last message, like, this is so-and-so, they, died, blah, blah, blah. So,
I would hate for a friend or a family member to have to go through, those means to cancel my social media, which I have a thing about social media. I don't care as much about it as most people do, but that's still one less thing, or one more thing that people would have to deal with.
Right. And I even will say, since my hiatus, I definitely have definitely stepped back and like cared a little less about social media as well. And I'm so glad that I kind of did my little retreat, and I am now like limiting a lot more of my interactions. Like, I'm only going on a couple times a day. Not even that. I think it's even less than that. But when I actually do have something to say that's worth saying, and I'm just not going on there saying my usual nonsense, which, some people do enjoy, but it's more for me than, trying to entertain other people, because that's kind of what this podcast is for. That's what my Patreon is for. I'm giving you other ways that, I can get that out, and it's just a little more contained. But actually spending time with people or talking to them or whatever, I'm finding more enjoyment in that. And I still love my Twitter friends. They're still all great. I can't name them all because I was going to say, like, how many followers are there? Like 1,000, but I don't talk to all 1,000 of them. You know who you are. You know who you are.
Yep.
But yeah. So yeah, well, I'll just have to put that down in the contracts for my fune. My designated social media follow-up person. So
yeah.
I think I have to have an audition. Like, who do I? Well, maybe I can give it to a couple of people. It's like, you can handle my Facebook, you can handle my Twitter. I don't know. I'm not on as many. Like, those are really the main two that I use.
Yeah.
The I was gonna say my Tumblr account is already not deceased, but I barely use it. I forget that I have it, actually.
You have a Tumblr?
I do have a Tumblr.
Care to share it?
Probably like tumblr.indube.com or indube.tumblr.com. I forgot how it works. So there's not much there, and I think the only thing that's really linked to it is my blog. So it's very well possible that anytime I post the podcast, or post a new episode, which does post to my blog, it may also post to Tumblr. So there is that. And I am also on Pinterest, but I don't use that too often because for me that is a time suck. But I know that's something that you love to do, and
yes,
I don't know. Maybe you have a little more managed than I do, but
it's amazing and I love it.
If I'm there for too long, then it's too long.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, we will take a quick break. When we return, I have a double whammy Black History fact and also a double whammy of Sheboygan news. I say double, it's not really double for Sheboygan, but you'll understand when we come back on the Undo Podcast.
The Undo Podcast.
Wake up early to make the big decisions. Command the room before you enter it. Confidently order lunch because the meeting is over. El Jefe, the new fragrance for men. And La Jefa for the ladies. Smell like you own the building, because you do.
Hey there, friend. Enjoying this podcast production? I bet your sweet buttery face you are. I bet you're also thinking, how can I support this show and look awesome doing it? Aside from telling your best pal and all their kin, you can head over to Indube.com, and 2 clicks later, after hitting the store tab, you'll find yourself with several fun and fancy swag brought to you by the fine folks at the Indube Network and T-Public. If you're a fan of Indube, Food Fight, or anything under the Indubian sun, you can find it plastered on mugs, hoodies, pillows, cases, bags, and of course, t-shirts. Hurry on over now, and you may catch a sale with all tees 30% off. Seriously, they have sales like every other week. So head on over to Indube.com or tpublic.com. That's TEEPUBLIC.com and type Indube in the search bar and continue to pod with the best. And welcome back to the Undo Podcast. I forgot to sing that time. I meant to sing that one. And welcome back to the Undo Podcast. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. Keep that day job there, buddy.
I realized that was a judgmental noise because you couldn't give me a judgmental look. I understand what that was.
But you're exactly right.
You're judging me with sound effects.
Exactly.
But I'm not sure if I appreciate it, but we're going to move on to our Black History fact.
Black History.
Black History. Black History. Black History.
Facts.
Now, I need to make sure that I really should wait for this one, honestly, but I was just too excited and I wanted to talk about it last episode. But I really wanted to talk about Aretha Franklin first. So that's kind of what happened. But Johanna Hayes has become, at least Connecticut's first, I believe it's the first Black woman. She's not quite a representative yet, but she is in the running, or she's running. She's the Democratic nominee. So I'm really, really hoping that she wins, and she is representing my district. So I can say she is my representative. I'm so excited for her.
Awesome.
And I really want to say she's the first Black woman in Connecticut for this to have this position. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to name it and claim it. She's going to win and be Connecticut's first Black congresswoman and represent my district. And it's not voting day yet, but she has my vote already.
Awesome. Well, good luck to her.
Yes, she was also voted Teacher of the Year. I don't know what year that was, and I think that she may have been given the award by my president, Barack Obama. So she has met Barack Obama, and there's footage and all this activity. I'm like, what was this happening? But yeah, so I'm excited for her, and I just continue to congratulate her for at least winning the Democratic nominee. So we're just gonna wait. Hopefully she wins that the big ticket. So I'm rooting for you.
Awesome.
So yeah, that is part one of the Black History fact. The other one is also what I have been doing on my vacation. I watched the documentary, which I had wanted to see for at least a year now, and I finally got to see it. It is streaming on Amazon Prime. It is called I Am Not Your Negro. This is the documentary from James Baldwin, who I've been wanting to do more research on him just to learn more about him, see or read more of his writings, or just hear him speak. And he was a very prominent figure back in the civil rights era. And this particular documentary is actually something he wrote. It's based on some letters that he had written, or maybe a book, I believe, that he had wrote but never finished, or an essay. And they took that and made that into a screenplay, or basically a documentary. And it's read by Samuel L. Jackson, which I kind of kept forgetting he was doing the narrating or the reading, because he was just very like a lot quieter, more subdued. But yeah, this writing was about his times with, and the last time that he had hung out with a few of his friends, 3 of them to be exact, which was Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Medgar Evers. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't, I knew that they like were connected, but I didn't think of like him being the throughway for all 3 of them, and just talking about how he, like, the last moments or last times he saw with them, then where he was when he found out that they had died. It was, and just his reflections on society at that time. And I'm not sure when this was written. I don't remember. Definitely after all of them had passed, but like, but it was definitely a moving piece, and a lot of the shots they intertwined with things that's happening now, and things that it seemed like he even predicted that would happen, or things that are still happening. So it's still another one of those things, like the more things change, the more things stay the same, or how far have we really come, just those kind of notions. And it was really quite moving, but also inspiring. And I definitely want more. I want to see more. I want to read more about him and more of his work. So that is I Am Not Your Negro. And that's actually not quoted in the movie, but when you get to it, you'll understand. And it's definitely recommended. I do recommend checking it out. It's great. And that is on Amazon. I feel like I said Netflix. If I did, I meant Amazon. Amazon Prime. Yeah. So awesome. Do you check that out? Amazon Prime streaming, and yeah, worth the watch.
Nice. Sounds awesome. He's a very influential character. Truly. He
truly is. And yeah, I'm gonna go look up more things, more quotes, more just stuff. Because I mean, I've been hearing about him for years, and I know who he is, but I just like, okay, let me really do a deep dive, and that was definitely a good start. So.
Good morning, Sheboygan.
It's a 2-parter, is because 2 articles came up, and they were both written by, which I did not know, but the Sheboygan Press has a Black woman as a reporter here, so I was excited about that. What caught my eye was like she actually, okay, let me back up. The first article is the 5 things to do at this year's Sheboygan County Fair, which she wrote. So the first one is meet the fairest of the fair, and I guess it's like some kind of pageant. And hold on. Yeah, you meet her, but none of these really seemed, well, that one didn't seem interesting to me. The next thing you could do, the number 2 thing, is watch the celebrity cream puff eating competition, which Marina Affo, that is the reporter's name, she took part in, and that's what we're going to get into a little bit later. Number 3 is watch the Wisconsin Dock Dogs, and that is basically dogs doing tricks and jumping into pools, and I would be there for that. Number 3 is enter a baking competition. I want to be a judge for that one. I don't necessarily want to enter it. I just want to be a judge.
Yeah.
And wait, hold on. Did I miscount? I think I miscounted. 1, 2. Yes, I did miscount. I'm sorry. That was number 4. Number 5 is laugh along with Farmer Bob and Johnny, the world's funniest tractor. Johnny is a tractor, and apparently it's funny.
I don't understand, but I mean, the statement was funny.
Yeah, I mean, and the blurb underneath it is Wisconsin's very own Farmer Bob and his tractor, Johnny, will have you rolling on the floor laughing. The duo will be at the fair every day. Johnny is a 1949 John Deere MT, and he is ready to entertain and bring smiles to everyone's face. So don't miss out on the routine at the fair. And there's no pictures, so I don't know exactly how a tractor is funny, unless maybe it's a person in a tractor suit. I don't know, but
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. I don't understand. Number one, but I kind of want to go now.
I do too, and especially if they're going to do it next year. So I might need. I mean, part of the whole point of the Sheboygan News is I'm finding reasons to go to Sheboygan. Like, okay, now back to the cream puff eating competition. I'm going to post the article because I love the way that she wrote this and how she had a whole game plan. At times, she reminded me of you, Kortney, because she just like has it all thought out. Like she's ready. She's going to do this. She's determined.
Makes sense.
But then as she kind of goes on and they say go, she throws all of it to the wall. Like the plan that she had, she does not go through with.
Well, life happens.
It does. There are 3 rules to this cream puff competition. Number 1, you must lick the plate clean. Number 2, you have to have fun. And number 3, you can't use your hands. Before I go on, have you ever had a cream puff before?
I can't say that I have. I think there are puffy dough things and there's cream on the inside. At least that's what I envision. But I'm a texture person, so I wouldn't want to eat those things because that doesn't sound appealing to me.
It doesn't, and it looks and sounds like it's like something really sweet. And I don't know if I want any parts, but I am a foodie, so I feel like I would have to try it at least once. And I would do this, but I'm going to post this article either on the show notes or the Patreon. I'm not sure. I like posting things on the Patreon because it makes people go there. But there are pictures of Marina, who is struggling to get through. She did not win. I will, put that spoiler in there, but she does discuss her other people she was racing with, I suppose. And she really details her journey trying to get through these cream puffs. And it's very amusing. And I believe the mayor, I'm not sure if he won, but there's also a milkshake eating competition.
Ooh, which I could win that one.
I don't know. I believe the mayor I think that's how you become mayor, because I think that's how he won. With that said, and I'm saying it now, I don't know when I'm going to follow up and actually do this, but I would like to send either Marina and or Mayor. Is this
Gunther?
What I was trying to find?
I don't know.
Mayor Michael Venderstein. I'd like to send either one of them a Good Morning Sheboygan mug, because we've got Sheboygan merch.
They might still benefit from it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I actually had that idea for a while now to send at least the mayor, but now that I finally know who the mayor is, I'm like, oh, okay, now I can finally, send it just to thank you for, keeping the town, great. And I'm really trying to get a key to a city. That's really what I'm trying to do, whether it's a key to the city somewhere in Connecticut or Sheboygan. I want Sheboygan's key to the city, even though I've never been.
You have to do something though to make them feel like you deserve the key to the city. They're not just going to give it to you. Okay.
Well, what if I do like a whole documentary series or something, and I go like check out the sites, and then I do all of the things. Like I participate in the cream puff eating competition, and then I participate in the parade and the Brat Fest, and I was going to say I break some of their crazy rules or crazy laws, which we have not discussed, but they do have some really interesting laws. But if I break a law, that'll probably like disqualify me from getting at the key. So I don't want to do that.
True. Yeah, you don't want to take them off.
Right. So I won't do that, but I'll do all the other things, the things that make Sheboygan, and I'll just do all those things. and document it. So maybe that way I can get the key. So I will say, yes, I probably do have to go there in order to get it. But anyway, I will be posting these somewhere, either on the show notes or the Patreon, so you can go check those out. Specifically, I think there is even video of Marina eating this cream puff. So there's that. I've got a correction from last episode.
Okay.
And this will actually fall under the word watch.
Word watch.
Because I think it's not that I learned the word. I think I forgot that this word existed. But sometime during last episode, we must have talked about bird poop, I guess. Because our good friend and fellow Indubian, Vilissa, had sent me an article about, I guess, how bird poop isn't really poop. It's more, according to her, actually, according to the article that she sent me, it's almost more pee than anything else. But it actually goes a little further, and the term is actually guano, but it's like a mix of both. And then it explains why it is what it is. And it's because, and also why they do it so often is because when you're flying, you want as little weight as possible. Like your bones are already hollow and you don't want to carry extra things with you. So once your food is already eaten and digested, there's no reason to hold it. Just let it go. And it goes through so quickly, like your digestive system. Like they don't have as many tubes and organs and such. So it sucks out the nutrients and then it's just drops. So this is probably more than anyone has ever really wanted to know about birds. But those that know me know that I do find poo or defecation sometimes interesting, as gross as it may be, but it's life. It's part of life. We all do it. So
okay. I did not know that about you.
Oh, well, now you do. I also, another good friend of mine that shares this fascination is another fellow Indubian, Parisa Fitzhenley. This is something that we do share every once in a while. So occasionally, if you see tweets between us, sometimes it is poo related. And I have not sent it to her yet, but shout out to Janae, who had let me know that there is a game for children that you have to, I guess, basically, plunger a toilet, and then all of a sudden a poo comes out and you have to catch it.
Oh, why? But why though? Why?
I do not know, but once she told me about this, I was like, I have to find this ad that you saw, and then I found it, and then I sent it to a couple of my other friends who also share this fascination with me, and they just completely lost it. And like, why does this exist? I don't want it, but I'm very amused that it exists.
I just don't understand. And I have a lot of questions still. Like, but the first of all the questions is why? Why? Why are we doing this?
I don't know. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. I don't know even how it made it all the way to the fact, like, okay, we're making commercials. We're selling this now to children. It gets a little bit better, though, because this is not the only toilet-related game that's out on the market. There is another one.
I feel like toilet humor and toilet games are easy, but that doesn't mean it's right, you know? It doesn't mean it's a thing we should do or go for or spend time, you know what I mean?
Right. I do. And I don't see myself purchasing this for my child unless they're like, hey, I saw this, I want it. And then I'm like, okay, then there's going to have to be a conversation because I don't know. The second one, and it's weird. The second one I'm more offended by, and this is one where you have to, what is this one called? This one's called Toilet Trouble. The first one I mentioned where you have to catch the poo, that one's called Flushin'. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But this one, the other one is called Toilet Trouble, and you have to keep actually flushing it like a number of times. I think you roll a dice, and I guess you have to, and it's actually like a toilet, and then it'll spray water in your face. after so many flushes. So
Mm-mm.
that one I feel more offended by, because like I might be wearing suede or something. You're gonna get it wet, and I don't want that. So that is the other one. The other one it seems less harmless because you just have to worry about the poo that flies out, and then you just have to catch it. I really understand the other point or the reason of that game in particular. I don't know the point. I don't know how you win either one. Like the fact that you are either being wet or poo is being flung at you. None of these seem like winners. So I don't know. But these exist, and they're not sold at Toys R Us because rest in peace, Toys R Us. I don't know where they are to find. I meant to ask, because one of the people I sent it to, I meant to leave a little note saying, I don't know if you're going to get this for your children, for your boys, but because they look like they're about that age that they would play with such things. I don't know. So yeah, that exists. I'm glad that I got to enlighten you on that.
Thank you, I guess.
Hey, you never know what you're going to learn here on the Indu podcast. So
yeah, that's for sure.
That's one of the. It wasn't a highlight of my week, but it was something that definitely stood out. I'm like, wow, this exists. People need to know that it exists, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's been a little while since I saw Moana. I would start singing the "You're Welcome" song, but I don't remember how it goes. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. When we return, we will do because it's that time of year again, Kortney. New TV shows. It's fall time. So when I come back, we're gonna go through the shows that are coming and which ones I think will be canceled. So we'll be right back here on the Indu podcast. So go to the bathroom.
The Indu podcast.
Puppies! Ow! The fluff-tastic, cuterific rascals that are too irresistibly adorable to ignore. You know you want to snuggle a fur baby, whether it's a bulldog, bloodhound, Pomeranian, or poodle. Get you some of this cuddly pupper loving. All of these doggos are good boys and girls and just crave your love and love to be loved. So love a pup today. Go find your nearest canine cuddler and give them all the hugs and belly rubs. As long as you have the owner's consent, of course. Hopefully they do, because no puppy should be left unpet. Puppies! We love the puppies! Hey!
Hey, dear listeners, just a gentle reminder that you can support the Indu Network by subscribing to the Indu Patreon at patreon.com/Indube.
But hold up, Sterling. I keep hearing about this website. What is Patreon?
So glad you asked. Patreon is a membership platform where subscribers can pay, fund, or donate to creators for content. In other words, if you subscribe for a small monthly fee, you can get bonus podcasts, reviews, videos, and just awesome extra goodies from the Indu Network.
So all that extra stuff we couldn't fit in this episode they're listening to right now will be on the Patreon?
Exactly, and so much more.
Oh, really? Well, where does my money go?
Well, podcasts cost money. Microphones, conferencing software, and host websites aren't free. So every little bit that a patron chips in helps produce the content they already love and enjoy. And for your contributions, based on how much you give per month, will unlock more perks to be enjoyed that are created specifically for patrons.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. So where do I go again?
Patreon.com/Indube. Browse around. Some posts are free. Most are $1, but you're free to do more and you will get more. And we at the Indube Network will certainly appreciate the help keeping the studio lights on.
That's for sure. And thank you to the patrons that are already supporting and enjoying all that extra bonus content. Like that one video where you did that one thing you said you wouldn't, couldn't, and shouldn't do.
Oh, I know. And I almost got killed to death trying to do it, but I did it and now it's done.
That was hilarious.
Good times.
Good times.
And we're back to the Indu podcast.
Welcome back, folks.
Thanks. Well, I was already here, but yeah, thank you. I'm saying thank you for them.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So it is that time of year again. It's back to, I was going to say back to school, but no, back to regular TV viewing for those people that watch TV. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been so thankful for this summer. There really hasn't been a whole lot that was on that I really wanted to watch. So that gave me time to watch other things and catch up on streaming stuff and blah, blah, blah. But it is fall time. And what I do every year, I want to say this, I am not celebrating a TV show being canceled unless, of course, the show is trash, Roseanne. And I just don't want to engage in that kind of behavior, Last Man Standing. And I just don't want to, watch those. I don't think they should be on.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, because it's a job, these people will lose their jobs if the show's canceled. So I don't, celebrate that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But some jobs are trash. I mean, some not jobs. Well, that's true. But some shows are trash, is what I'm saying. So what will you do? We will go through each day. I will state all the shows, a very, 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 very brief synopsis if I feel it's necessary. And then the show that's going to be canceled, why I think it's going to be canceled. And go from there. So I'm going to start with Sunday. We've got new shows, Dancing with the Stars Juniors, which is pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
On CBS, we have God Friended Me, which seems like a really good premise.
Yeah.
I think
heard about that one.
I think it'll do well. Yeah. Because I remember many, many years ago, Touched by an Angel was probably around on the same time slot. I think they were actually on Saturdays. They may have moved to Sundays before they finally finished their series. Doesn't matter, but it seems like a good Sunday evening show in prime time. So I think that'll do well. The Alec Baldwin Show, which I think is a talk show, that's going to be on ABC. I think that'll do okay. I'm really kind of confused. I didn't look up further what that's about. Rel, which is actually one of my nicknames, but no, it has nothing to do with me. I put that one as canceled only because it doesn't fit with the rest of the lineup, because the rest of the shows, this is on Fox, by the way. Fox has their whole animation domination thing that they have on Sunday nights, where it's The Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy. I think that spot used to have Last Man on Earth, I think, which did okay, I think, but the last year they did cancel it. So Rel, which is the comedian Rel, and Sinbad is actually going to be in the show as well. So I'm excited. I do want to watch this, but for whatever reason, I feel like this might not make it. But I hope I am wrong, because this looks like a good show, or it could be a good show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is my first prediction for cancellation. It's not because I want it to. It's just because I feel like the night might be wrong for it. Also, new show Charmed. I don't know how. I know you're a fan. You're a fan of the original Charmed, right?
I am.
Were you?
I am.
Okay. So do you have any thoughts on this new one, even though it hasn't started yet? But
I just don't understand why we are still remaking things that are within our realm of, like, I can almost see remaking things that are older that, would appeal to a new generation. But I mean, Charmed is still being aired on TV, like reruns, yes, but I don't know. It's just, I'm sick of the remakes. They have some new, like, quirks and things with this new show that sound okay or whatever, but I'm just, it's just getting old, and I'm tired, and I want new
size
stuff,
at all. I do. I'm with you, because I mean, at some point, and maybe it's already happening, but at some point the remakes are going to be starting to be remade. So,
and they are. I mean, look at Spider-Man, the movies.
Oh,
how many
yeah,
times
right.
have we redone Spider-Man since we've been, like, on this earth? I don't know. I don't get it.
And they finally got it right this time, hopefully. Well, I'd say so. It's back with Marvel, so yeah. But you know what? It's still not done, because we have another Spider-Man movie coming out later this year. So, yeah. Yeah, we're going to move on to Monday, because I feel you seething a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, Monday, CBS, and I give props and kudos to CBS for, I think, hearing us out last year, because it was very, how do I put this, white, their TV slate. So they definitely have brought some color to it. I mean, going back to Sunday, God Friended Me, that it is a black lead. I don't know the gentleman's name, but on Monday night they have two shows with two black leads. Actually, the third show too is a person of color. But The Neighborhood with Cedric the Entertainer, and then Happy Together with Damon Wayans Jr. Both of these shows, they look promising. They look funny. I'm not putting them in the cancellation slot because CBS does not really cancel too many of their shows. So I really hope that these two shows do well. That will be followed by a new show, Magnum PI, which just fits in with the rest of CBS's lineup. I definitely feel that's going to do well because they brought back, I know we just talked about remakes and how we're tired of them, but they did successfully bring back Hawaii Five-0. They brought back MacGyver, and they're still hanging in there. So yeah, there's probably going to, and I think I would tune in if they do cross over all three of these shows because they did it for MacGyver and Hawaii Five-0. I did not watch. I wanted to, but kudos to them. Also on Monday, Manifest on NBC is a new show that is a very high concept show. I feel like it has like tinges of Lost and maybe, I don't know, something else supernatural. I can't think of it, but because it's a high concept show, I don't think that it will last. For whatever reason, NBC doesn't really do well when it comes to shows like this, because I do remember when the event happened and they made this to be like a huge event when that show was coming out, but it did get canceled. It did not make it a second season. And I don't think that this will either. I'm going to check it out, but I don't think it's going to make it. But again, I could be wrong. On Tuesday, ABC is bringing back so this is a remake or a revamp of a remake, The Connors, which is formerly known as Roseanne.
Oh my God, I heard it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I should put a cancellation in this, or if it to be canceled, but I really don't know how it's going to go now.
I don't think it's going to be canceled though.
I kind of don't think so either. So I left it as is. I'm probably still not. I'm not going to watch it more than likely, but I'm going to be keeping a close eye on the ratings. The next show on ABC is The Kids Are All Right, and I'm drawing a blank. I looked at a trailer and I'm already forgetting what it was about. So I did put that as canceled. So that's probably not going to make it. Another new show is The Rookie, also on ABC, and that's starring Nathan Fillion, and he tends to do pretty well with the shows that he gets. So and it's a cop show. So I think cop shows on ABC at 10 o'clock, they do pretty well. On CBS, FBI, and that's probably going to be okay as well because it's CBS and they do nothing but cop shows if they don't do sitcoms. So that'll do okay. On NBC is New Amsterdam, which is a medical drama, and they do well with medical dramas. So that's going to be fine. On Wednesday on ABC, Single Parents is a sitcom about single parents, and that falls right in line with their lineup of family sitcoms, so that should be fine. And followed by A Million Little Things, which is a drama that they're calling their version of oh my God, what's the name of that show? This Is Us. So
okay.
I was wrong before because I had predicted This Is Us would be canceled, and now they're entering their third season. And I'm just going to follow my gut. And I feel like A Million Little Things might not be the success that they're hoping it is. And not because of the cast. The cast looks great. And I think I'm going to check it out as well. I'll probably watch a couple episodes. But I feel like it's not going to make it. On CW, All American. I don't know what that is. I meant to look it up, but I forgot to. So I just have a question mark there. Thursday, Murphy Brown is returning. This I'm actually getting a little interested about. Like, I never watched it when it was actually on, but I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. But I left it. Like, I don't think it's gonna be canceled. NBC has a new show called I Feel Bad, and that's that is produced by our good friend Amy Poehler.
Nice.
The main actress is I want to say she's Indian American. I don't really know what like her ethnicity, but she's a person of color,
Mhm.
and that is something that I'm excited to see, someone who is not white and just different. Like
Yeah.
they're not black either. So,
Yeah.
and she is in a interracial marriage, and she's just dealing with her children and her husband, and I think she lives with her parents. And I'm tired of seeing the same commercials over and over again, so I really want to see more of this show. But again, no cancel there, because I think that's what's needed. Legacies on the CW, I don't know what that is. I just put another question mark there because I don't know what that is. Fridays, only 2 shows. Last Man Standing, which is returning after being canceled from ABC. It's now going to Fox, like I think maybe 2 years later. So I feel that's unprecedented that they made this move. But hey, whatever, do you? I am not going to watch that show because that is supposed to be also let's put it a pro 45 kind of show. At least the star Tim Allen is supposedly, but he's been saying some interesting things lately anyway. But I think he's a little bit smarter. He's not saying anything that will ruin his
him fired or canceled.
Right. Because I mean, he is the last man standing, like literally at this point, to having a show.
Good job.
Right. So I mean, if he ends up getting fired from his show, there's no way that they're probably going to keep his show going without him being on it, because then they have to rename the whole show like they did for the Connors. So yeah. Also actually coming on after Last Man Standing, and the fact that they put on a Friday night, which normally would suggest that that's like a graveyard for TV shows, but not all the time, because there are shows that do work on Friday nights. And I'm really, really pulling in strong. Hopefully that Midnight Texas continues their second season strong. So again, shout out to Parisa Fittenley.
Hey.
Because they are now on Friday nights, which is a good fit, because the last show that had this time slot was Grimm, which lasted for quite a few seasons, and this fits right in line with that theme. So I think they should do well over there. But yes, the other show on Fox is called The Cool Kids, and I believe that is a sitcom about maybe I think they're geriatrics in a nursing home or something, and I think they are rebelling against the system. I don't really know, but something about it just seemed off. Like it just didn't feel like, it's one of those gut feelings. I don't think it's going to make it, especially the fact that it's on a Friday night. And again, the reason why the Friday night is like that graveyard time slot is because a lot of people are out on Fridays and not necessarily home to watch TV. So especially a show like this. But hey, you never know. I could be wrong, but that one I have cancellation. So just a quick recap. The shows that I'm predicting to be canceled, and it was really difficult this year because I think they did a good job selecting some really, all the shows pretty much look good except for like, the Connors and Last Man Standing. But the shows I think will be canceled will be Rel, Manifest, The Kids Are All Right, A Million Little Things, and The Cool Kids. So not many. And really the only strong one I felt about was The Cool Kids, and maybe The Kids Are All Right. So that is my TV prediction, and I will be posting that also on Patreon. I'll post my predictions. I'll also have the whole grid that you can look at, and then I will update accordingly, and we'll see where we fall in May and how many I got right.
You're pretty spot on normally, so I'm looking forward to seeing this as well. I mean, you know your TV, so
I do.
You're good.
I have not quite hit 100% accuracy, but I'm usually, I think last year maybe I got like a C or B if I were to be graded. So, and then of course there's some shows that I didn't even really like, oh wow, I didn't think that would tank like it did, or I'm surprised. So, and I usually only do shows their first year. I don't really do shows that have already been established, because that's a different kind of, those are different parameters I'm dealing with. So yeah, but it's a fun game. I like playing this game. But again, I am not rooting for shows to be canceled, because that's somebody's job. So yeah, I don't want, but it is a temperamental business, and it's based on whether or not people watch or not. So that is that. And yeah, is there anything that you're actually looking forward to this fall? I know that TV is not like a priority for you, but I do know there's like a few shows here and there that you look forward to.
I'm looking forward to checking out Charmed, even though I'm feeling some type of way about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's really the only show I know of coming on TV because, like you said, I don't do TV super often. I'm a streamer. Um, so, but whenever The Good Place comes back on air, I will be excited about it because I love it. Granted, I'll wait until it streams, but I am excited, and I don't know if season 3 has been ordered or not, but I
It
hope it is.
has. It has.
Yay! Because it left
I'm
on like a crazy cliff note or cliffhanger rather, and I'm just very like, oh my god, I've been thinking about it. What? I am also excited about the now 31 Days of Halloween on ABC Family. It is currently, ABC Family has changed their name to Freeform over many rounds of new name changes. And it used to do something called 13 Days of Halloween, where it started basically 12 days before Halloween and it would go up through Halloween night. And so
mhm.
I always loved watching it. But so this year they changed it to 31 days of Halloween. And
Mm.
I'm so excited, you don't even know. So, because I don't have cable, I have to figure out a way to watch it because I need to be there for this.
About to say
Um,
we'll probably talk later because they do have an app, and I think you probably just need like a cable thing. We're talking too much already. Like
mhm.
we'll talk about it off mic. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, but whatever they air for 31 Days of Halloween, I'm there for it. I'm also ready for the holiday season because I love holiday shows and holiday movies and I'm sure Hallmark is already like playing Christmas movies now because why not?
Yes, of
Like the
course.
countdown to Christmas or something. Who cares? They're probably doing it. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I may have to check like after we finish here. But I do want to answer your question. And wait a second. This why does this look like this? I'm trying. Oh, okay. Let me back up. I'm sorry. October 4th is when The Good Place returns.
Seriously? Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta watch it. Oh, that's like coming up.
It's a whole month away.
A
It's the
whole month away.
it's a day before the live podcast episode of the Indu or the really live episode. So
It
there is
is.
there is that. But yeah, I got a little confused because I'm looking, it says the 4th, and I'm like, wait a second, today is the 4th, but today's not Thursday. I'm breaking that wall again so people know when we're recording. At least they know it's not a Thursday that we're recording. And I think maybe next episode we may talk about this term, and I may maybe I'll put it under word watch, but channel drift. And we will talk exclusively about Freeform and how it has experienced channel drift. So I don't want to get into it today because it is quite an extensive topic that I had researched like just on a whim. And I'm like, oh, there is an actual name for this. So we'll get into that next time because I find it really interesting. And I think you will too, especially since we've talked so much about Freeform and why they keep changing their name.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an answer for you. So that is my cliffhanger for you, Kortney.
Okay.
for the next episode. Other than that, I think that just about does it. I don't really see anything else here. Whoops, dropped my pen and I cannot find it in the darkness. So yeah, I think we are good. You have anything else you wanted to share with the people, or is anything?
Keep on keeping on, man. Just don't give up. Life sucks sometimes, but don't give up.
That is true. That pretty much nails it on the head. Just keep on keeping on. And I will just agree with that. Make sure you you pay attention to the Patreon. I am really trying to bring you more content there. I will be doing an air fryer review and maybe even a recipe. So, because I have people asking me, and that was like actually one of the things since I've been off social media, people have been trying to get me back in to talk about air fryers for whatever reason. I don't know. And I actually would like to connect with a few people that got me into wanting to get an air fryer. So shout out to Shannon Miller and Nisha, and because they kind of talked me into getting it. But again, just keep an eye out on the Patreon. There's going to be more stuff coming, more videos, more reviews, and should be good. So yeah, I think that is all. Where can we find you if we want to look for you on the social medias?
On the social medias, you can find me, especially on Twitter, really only on Twitter these days, at IMK Hinton, where I tweet up a storm about everything from witches to colorism in the Black community to the importance of drinking water every day, and a lot of other stuff in between. So if you don't, identify with either of those categories, or you don't, those categories don't resonate you, just come on by anyway and check it out and say hello.
Did you say your handle?
I did.
I was.
Hinton.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I was drinking water. I was being a good human. I missed it.
Good. That is a good human.
We did mention Tumblr. You can find my Tumblr at Indube. More than likely, there's nothing really there. Maybe you can find some old pictures I tweeted or tumbled. I don't know, posted, whatever. But yes, just go to indube.com to find all the Patreon stuff, subscribe for more perks, and find my TeePublic store to get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. Please rate, comment, and share the pod on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean, and Spotify. Still excited about that. Thank you so much for supporting, listening, stopping by, and pressing play. Tell someone you value that you value them, and live for the folks you love, because you can't do that after the fune.
Right.
I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson, and remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off. The Indube Podcast is recorded in a studio somewhere on planet Earth. The Indube Podcast is part of the Indube Network, and if you'd like to get in contact with the Indube Podcast, please email indubepod@gmail.com. That is indubepod@gmail.com. You can find the Indube Podcast on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google Play, and of course Podbean, or wherever podcasts may be procured. If you'd like to find out more information, please visit indube.com, where you can find our store, the blog, and of course our Patreon if you'd like to support and donate and find more perks and fun things to listen to and watch. For Chief, DJ Joe Daddy, Bilford, this is T. Sterling Watson signing off. Thank you so much for listening.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production.